Guys, deluded, I'm back again. Sorry people, one sec. Really should have taken that out. Obviously, Guinness and them things there. My West Indian people know what I was having. Them things, they're sweet. But anyways, back in more important news. Xhaka. Now, I have been trying to avoid this vid, but I've been hearing, you know when you hear that voice inside you, you have to, whether no one's asked you or which they have, or whether they've asked you or not, you need to talk about Xhaka. Now, I don't know where to start. Like, I'm a fan of Xhaka. Like, I'm not going to hold no punches. I'm a fan of Xhaka. I'm a different sort of fan of Xhaka because again and again, us fans, football fans, specifically Arsenal to this case, talking about players in extremes. If you think, some people think Xhaka's brilliant, which is wide of the mark. Some people think he's trash, which I don't feel is fair on a man. Yeah, but it's illegal to be on the fence these days. Not would I say that. If I look at Xhaka, now, can't lie, when he was announced and you was looking on YouTube and them sort of things there, and it was the Euros, he was looking wavy. You was thinking, alright, cool, he's gonna come here, he's gonna do this sort of playmaking thing. People were saying he was gonna be like Petit and these things. Like if you was watching Bundesliga, you could see he's not, and you could see he's someone that could dictate tempo and that. I think a lot of that has happened for us, but a lot of it hasn't. So he's not. Let's keep it 100, people. He hasn't. It's not been the signing we've expected in it for 40 million. Let's keep it 100. Like, it's not been the signing. That doesn't mean he's been bad. I think Xhaka's been alright. Now, I'm not excusing my main issues with Xhaka would probably be the lack of, you've been here for 2 years now, lack of defensive awareness. And I'm not saying, clearly you don't have a defensive bone in your body. That's not in a disrespectful way. Your talent is not defensively. Your talent is what you call a false 10. You're trying to play, make deep line and things. But for me, you've been here for 2 years, and especially when you've got the ball, it's a bit blinkered. You don't see behind you. Like, people are finessing you with the ball. You're passing and putting man in danger, or you're dwelling on the ball when there's two men behind you. Like, you're a central midfield player. Like Cruyff once told Pep Guardiola, you need to look as far that way and as either side as wide as you can. You need to have eyes in the back of your head. Central midfield, I don't understand how you don't have awareness in that department. At times, you dwell on the ball. The mistake you made against Cardiff, it was dumb, you hold your hands up. But 9 times out of 10, you normally make that pass calmly. It was stupid, and you shouldn't have done it. Don't get me wrong, you shouldn't have done it. You should have kept it cool. We're going into half-time. It was a dumb mistake to make. I'm not mistaking it. But let's not talk in extremes. Xhaka, I don't believe he should be as vital in the side as he clearly is. Now, what do I know? Like, people can say what they want about Arsene Wenger and people can say what they want about Unai Emery, but them man there are working with the man day in, day out, and all of them sort of things there, and he's not a bad player, so there must be something them man there are seeing that we're not. For me, I see why he plays. When he comes out the side, people gas it, but when he comes out the side, you can see there's a lack of playmaking. The problem is, there's more to being a central midfielder than playmake. I like his X factor. He's always angry and them, not always, but he's got that aggression. People thought he's going to be a somewhat Petit or White Vieira, like it wasn't going to ever happen for us. He has talent. I do think he shouldn't be playing as much as he does. I definitely wouldn't, like, he probably will start, but I definitely would take him out the side because his performances have been below par. But he shouldn't be as vital. Like, right now, even Guendouzi, he's been alright, but he's kind of young, and I told you guys, he's kind of wasteful in possession at times, but he's still a wavy player. For me, it's him and Torreira now. It's him and Torreira, and central midfield's another case in its own, whether you want to play Ramsey there, Ozil there, because another conversation needs to be had about the flanks. I do believe, like someone said in my comments, there's too many chefs. When you have too many chefs, the soup gets ruined, as someone kindly put it. That doesn't mean all these players are bad. But I do believe when you have Ramsey on the pitch, Ozil on the pitch, Xhaka on the pitch, and a couple others I might not be saying, they're all good footballers. And when it's going well, when the sun's shining, we're playing good ball. And it's not a disrespect to all of them. And I do believe they could all play together competently a major part of the season. But for me, when them three are there, just to keep the example, I feel we're losing a bit defensively. And I'm not even talking necessarily need to have a composing sort of midfielder. There's just something missing. I do think even in our midfield in general, something's wrong because I don't know. I can't put my hands on it. Like, people are coming deep for the ball, but I do think our midfielders are having a problem in regards of receiving the ball off defence, moving together in that. I think Xhaka's a decent player and he can come good. But I look at it, you're 2 seasons in now. I do believe he had a decent year, if you can say that, last year, especially a strong year to a strong end to the season. That doesn't mean it was perfect. That doesn't mean we can't pick apart and look in the micro and say, oh, he made this mistake there, this and that. For instance, Watford away, he was terrible. So I'm not saying he played amazing. I think he's a good player. If I put myself in Unai Emery's shoes and I'm looking at my squad, I'm starting to think we need another midfielder, and video might come on that. But I'm looking at it. Xhaka, if it got like you can improve him. There's something there. The lack of mobility, something needs to be done. But that's physical attributes. If you ain't got it in 2 years, I don't know. But you do think there's something there. You look at your midfield options. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Torreira, probably first and foremost, and Guendouzi, give or take. Aaron Ramsey probably comes into the conversation because as good as them three are, their strengths are probably not going forward, scoring goals and things. And Ramsey's arguably the only thing we can claim to having of a Lampard-ish goal-scoring midfielder, someone that could bring, I'm going to just say 10 goals a season, because I believe that should be the benchmark for our midfielders, give or take. I'm not saying every man needs to get that, but I don't feel, well, definitely from the flanks, because we ain't got no wide men, but like our midfielders, central midfielders, they're not scoring enough. And I sound like a hypocrite, because if you look at Ozil and Ramsey's goals last season, they did okay in that department. But yeah, man, I think Xhaka's alright, but he needs to come out the side. Like, he needs to come out the side, and it's very hard to defend him when he keeps playing like he did. I do think people talk in extremes, because on the grand scheme of things, he was okay that game, I'd say. He made the mistake, and there's no coming back from that, and the headlines are going to be written. But yeah, man, I do think to a degree he's scapegoated, but when he plays like that, you can't defend him. But hopefully he comes good, man. I'm not prepared to give up on him yet, but I do think he should come out the side, and I don't think he should play as much as he plays until further notice. If he performs to a level where we can be confident in him, because if we're honest, 10 games, I don't think, if we say 10 games, I don't think Xhaka's going to play poor, but you don't know what you're getting. Even if when you look at our whole side, as much as we like Aubameyang and Lacazette and everybody else, 10 games, you don't know what you're getting from these players. Arguably the most consistent in the side, and even he's not perfect, because you could claim Monreal had a fault to play in both the goals we conceded against Cardiff. Monreal's probably the closest player we can claim to giving us some sort of level of consistency if we was to say 10 games. And this is why we're not where we are, but we need to see, man. Unai Emery's got a tough job because he's away. I don't think these players are bad players. By one token, I think these players are not good. Some players are not good enough and can't be worked on. I don't necessarily think all of these players are bad players, or I just feel they're continuously making bad decisions. In fact, I should say choices, because we've been at this point where they've done it enough times. It's a choice. When you make certain things enough times, make certain mistakes enough times, it's a choice. That's not just for Xhaka, that's for many players of this side. We see the same mistakes week in, week out when we lose, or in general, even when we win. That's not to sound negative. I don't want to sound like I was ranting, but on that note, guys, deluded, get in the comments, subscribe, and do the rest if you wish. I'm out.